And I'm a high school social studies teacher in Lafayette Parish at Acadiana High School. The video you're about to watch mainly includes students in 9th grade honors civics. These students recently began a mini unit on political parties. This lesson will hope to capitalize on the information that they learned earlier this week. Grade level expectations and future social studies courses require that students interact with high-level primary and secondary sources in order to gain a deeper and more meaningful connection with the course content. By using the Louisiana Department of Education's grade level expectations and the Lafayette Parish curriculum map, this lesson was crafted to give students a foundational understanding of the two main political parties, their platforms, and how core American belief and values affect our political culture. This lesson includes students breaking down an objective for the day, setting a goal for the remainder of the unit, investigating a source together, and working towards mastering Louisiana State Civic Standard 5.6. By the end of this lesson, students should have a deeper understanding of this lesson objective. There is still more on this topic to be explored in later lessons, so full mastery of this objective is not expected at this time. The lesson part of this video is edited with pieces of different class periods due to some technology issues that were experienced while filming.
Alright guys, thank y'all for those of you that got where you need to be. If you haven't yet, whenever you get there, the objective is on there for you if you look towards the bottom of the question. So first thing you're going to do, just in your own words, kind of like we did before, you're going to explain what you already know about the objective. So it's saying gain a deeper understanding of the two-party system and their key platforms. That's the first part. So especially for Monday with what we did, saying gain a deeper understanding, there's stuff you should already know about it besides just, oh, it has two parties. So just a little bit about it, doesn't have to be too in-depth. We'll talk a little bit about some of those ideas. Then the second part of it is just evaluating the impact of third parties in election results. So once you get through that, your second part is just going to be to set a goal based on what you already know about what you want to accomplish after. So just spend about 2 minutes or so. After that, we will go over it and get started on the rest of everything else. Alright guys, so kind of as you wrap that up, just to look at that objective for a second. So if we're talking about gaining a deeper understanding of the two-party system in the U.S., let's start off with just the basics. What are the two major parties in the U.S.? Yep. So we have the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. So if we're adding on to that, because then it's going to say, okay, some of the key platform issues that they have. So it doesn't matter if you give me a Democratic one or you give me a Republican one. What are some of their key platforms, their big ideas that are super, super important to them?
Gun control.
Okay, and whose platform, because you can go either way. We're talking about regulating gun control, or we're talking about not?
Like regulating it?
Regulating it. Which party would believe in regulating it? Like having more restrictions? Yeah, the Democrats tend to do that, yep. Equality for all races, which one's that tying to? Democratic Party, yep.
The Republicans believe more in traditional values.
The Republicans are going to stay more towards traditional values. Say somebody. Someone. Yep.
The Republicans are more towards free market capitalism, while the Democrats are more towards social welfare.
Okay, so Democratic Party is going to be more towards those social welfare programs. That's going to tie into something we talk about in a second. Your goal, I'll be honest, that's just kind of what you plan on doing. Just keep it in mind for the end. And if we're looking, that last part of it before we move on, what is the impact of third parties on election results? Is there an impact of third parties yet?
Third parties are basically to support one side or the other.
Yeah, so third parties can support one side or the other. Somebody add on to that. What is their main job? They know they're not going to win the presidency. Yeah.
They're there to like have either like the candidates or the citizens focus on a certain like political topic.
Yes. So they're going to pick, usually it's going to be just one or two big things that are super important to them that they want people to know, then that's their main goal. They know if they run for president, when you go and you see all those names on the ballot, the third parties know they're not going to win the presidency. But is it going to have an impact just because people have another choice? Like, okay, for 2016 we had Hillary Clinton and we had Trump. Then we had a long list of names below them. If you have more choices, does that take away, let's say, from what Trump and Hillary got? Are they going to lose some votes because of that? Yes, for sure. So that what we could say is an impact. It's taken away some of the votes. Is it taken away a lot? No. Is it enough to change it? Some cases, maybe. So that's something to kind of think about with the impact as well, because they know they're not going to win. They're just trying to pretty much get their voice heard in the end is what we're going to see. Like I said, keep that goal in mind. We'll kind of come back to it at the end. On this, it's just going to be 5 or 6 quick questions. It's not something I want you to worry about saying, oh, I got a 100%. Actually, I want to see people maybe not get a straight 100%. So just kind of seeing where we're at, trying to see where we have to go to kind of get that deeper understanding of those parties. So just spend a few minutes answering this, and then we will go over it. You can look at it on yours too. Founders of the nation feared that political parties would do what? Yeah. So they believed that it would harm the nation by splitting them into factions. Alright, political parties' chief goal is to gain power in the government by doing what? Yeah, so winning elections and holding office. Statement, that's the one we talked about a second ago. Statement that says what a party hopes to achieve, their main goal. Is a platform, what was another, there was another term we talked about. Did that bring it back for anybody? So we had platform, then we had plank. So what was that relationship between platform and plank?
Platform.
Say it again. Oh, either one. Yeah, so your plank is what's going to make up your platform. It's like your small ideas compared to your big ones. Okay, so here, it's likely that all are functions of political parties except for what? Yeah, they're not going to be hearing and deciding court cases. We talked about that with the judicial branch. Then our last one for this, which major political party generally believes in upholding traditional values? It's going to be Republicans. That one we did talk about at the beginning. Alright, so what we're going to do, this is where you can work with somebody that's right on the side of you. I would try to say keep it to a partner, just with the way we're set up like usual. But if you're on a row, you have 3, that's alright. So you're going to work with each other. There is a source already on there for you. So this is what we're going to hope. It's going to kind of give us a little bit deeper of an understanding of both of the political parties and kind of the political culture. So it does have the questions both here for you to answer. Everybody's going to end up answering it, even together. And it has the source for you on the side. So you're going to pull up that source. The first thing that you're going to need to decide with whoever you're working with, one of you is going to need to read the source out loud while the other person's kind of following along. And then y'all are going to work together to actually answer both of those questions. So, first thing, choosing who's reading. Second thing, y'all are going to work through it together. If there's any questions as you go along with it, kind of jot those down too in the spaces that you can, and we can talk about it right after. So, go for it.
The importance of majority rule and protection of minority rights are important related beliefs.
Everywhere they seem to be debate. Everywhere seems to be debate about the scope and meaning of and message of the Constitution. This is a healthy thing. Even the framers would agree on that. It's called politically.
The importance of the majority rule and protection of minority rights. Public officials and the public related should be accountable. Governmental authority, policy, and agencies. Minority rights are important for all sources.
Well, I read the news about Utah, this year.
definitely about debating because they think that to talk to argue between two sides, it comes to a better conclusion, like a compromise.
Alright guys, so just as you get your final answer in on this, make sure you do end up turning in what you and your group decided on, but just to talk about it for a second, it's going to kind of tie into the next one that we do. There is one other source. So for this one, according to the source, what makes American political culture? Just one person. What is something that we found that the source says makes up political culture?
Most of the people have about the same idea, but some of them differ on how they connect to each idea.
Okay, so they all have different ideas. They might differ on how they connect to it. What else? What are some other things that actually make up American political culture? Yeah. Okay, so their core values on here for that source it said equality, liberty, and democracy. So what are some other ones? There was a couple other values that we talked about at the beginning of the year. What are some of those other core American values that are absolutely important because it definitely ties in? Justice. Justice was one of them. What else? Equality I know is our biggest one. We spend a lot of time on equality. But if we have these core values, remember we talked a little bit last chapter, it'll come back in economics too, with decision making. So everybody has different values. What did we say last chapter? Everybody pretty much almost 100% agreed. What is the biggest group of people that have a role in your development as a citizen?
Our parents.
Parents, you can say family as a whole, because those are the ones that kind of stick around for every single part of your life. So even we talked about once you go to school, they're still there. They're still guiding you. So that's going to kind of tie in with how you make your decisions. One of those decisions being how involved you are politically. Because if it's something that isn't necessarily either taught to you or is important to your parents, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to gain an importance for it. Same thing we could talk about just with that basic respect. That was another big thing that we talked about at the beginning of the year as well. And then this source, for number 2, it actually directly says, but we would have to use the source to see it. What does the source imply about what's more important? Specific issues or core beliefs? Core beliefs. It goes straight up. It definitely says core beliefs because that's what leads you to make your decision on each of those specific issues. So whenever we come back to this in January and go more in depth with the political parties and their issues, trying to see especially then, okay, I more stand with one group on this, might stand with another group on something else, just based on everything that's pretty much happened to you in your life. Alright guys, so the last thing that we're going to do, whenever it comes up on your screen, pretty much just going back to what we did at the beginning of class. So I want you to reflect first off on the goal from your beginning of class. So whatever you said, okay, this is what I want to know more about, this is what I don't. This is what I don't know. So whenever you're looking at this and you're reflecting, bless you, I want you to think, okay, do I fully understand it? Am I kind of there, but not there at all? There is no wrong answer. It is just reflecting on what you believe. And then after that, something you still don't fully understand, bless you, thank you. Something you still don't fully understand about the objective that we talked about. And on top of that, whether it's related to the objective or not, just something that you would like to learn more about. It can be anything, whether it's more about both parties, so we definitely will come back to that. Pretty much just your reflection of what you believe.
Reflecting on this lesson, I do believe that the expectation that I set for my students was met. I expected them to gain a deeper understanding of the lesson objective. According to the closure activities, most students identified their current level of understanding at a yellow light. This, as well as other responses, will help to guide future lessons that will help them fully master this objective. The information introduced this week will be revisited and capitalized on in a chapter after Christmas break. The next time I do this lesson, I want to add a couple of questions to the sources that will lead students to a greater understanding of the topics in this lesson. As in any day of teaching, issues like technology problems occurred that were outside of anyone's control. Adapting and accommodating for these issues is something that was key to pulling this lesson off. I'm very lucky to teach an exceptional group of students that always make adapting during a lesson just as easy and smooth as it possibly can be. Thank you for your time, and go Rams.